A live look at what's happening in space right now. Artemis II exited the lunar sphere of influence. That's the region of space where the moon's gravitational pull is stronger than the Earth's pull. Now that comes after another historic day in the mission. On your screen right now, the first ever images of the far side of the moon. Now the astronauts in the Orion capsule are now the first humans ever to see that part of the moon with the naked eye. And that is not all. The crew traveled more than 252,000 miles to get these epic shots you see here. That's the furthest away from Earth any other human being has ever been, and that includes the astronauts on Apollo 13 who held the previous record. I'm joined now by CBS News space consultant Bill Harwood, who's live at the Johnson Space Center in Texas. Good to see you again today, Bill. So what new information are we learning from the flyby?
Well, really today is the first time we've been able to see these high-resolution pictures of the moon that they took. You know, during the process last night, those pictures are stored on board. You know, we had some imagery from cameras out on the ends of the solar panels, but they were kind of low resolution. These are just mind-blowingly clear. You know, close-ups of a lot of these craters in those areas of the moon you mentioned that people haven't been able to see in daylight before. The scientists are really eager to examine these pictures in great detail. They want to learn more about the evolution of the moon, how it came to be the way it is today. And so they're thrilled beyond belief at this. You know, I have to remind everybody, people have seen the backside of the moon. Satellites have been orbiting for years. You know, they've thoroughly mapped the moon, but you know, bringing that human eye to the table is important. It's more sensitive to very subtle changes in color that are indicators of the composition of the soil below. And so, you know, given that and the cameras they were using, they literally were expected to take something like 10,000 photographs as they swept behind the moon. So all in all, a very successful pass. I think NASA's very happy the way it turned out. And obviously the astronauts are. If you saw them last night on television, they were almost giddy with the things they were seeing.
And so we know the crew will now make their way back to Earth. Can you talk to us about what that process will look like?
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, it's not like the space shuttle. This is a fairly cramped capsule for 4 people. Obviously, it's like a camping trip, you know, when you set up your tent and your cots and your sleeping bags and all the cooking utensils. It takes a while to set it up, but it also takes a while to pack it back up. So they're going to be doing that. They're going to reconfigure their cabin for entry over the next 2 days or so, reposition the seats in the capsule, get their suits positioned and ready to put on for reentry, and then, of course, the big event itself, which will come Friday when they slam into the Earth's atmosphere at about 25,000 miles an hour. That is flat out moving 7 miles per second. And the friction with the atmosphere, the compression of the atmosphere will put about 5,000 degrees of heat on their heat shield. But presumably and hopefully that's all going to work fine. And if it does, they'll splash down in the Pacific just off the coast of San Diego early Friday evening Eastern time. So a lot to do between now and then. But first, they get a half a day off this afternoon, so I'm sure they're looking forward to that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they need that. Bill Harwood, thank you for your time today. Appreciate it.